When Anna arrived at her destination, she discovered the horrible truth with her own eyes.
I'll throw something back here. The Hecatomb. The first 3 months of the war saw especially heavy losses. August 22nd, 1914 was the bloodiest day of the whole war. The heavy casualties, the numbers of wounded were far greater than had been anticipated, and the military health services struggled to cope with the scale of the conflict. Nurses. Nurses were the angels of the Great War, and were generally volunteers recruited by the Red Cross, the Army, or the American ambulances to work long, grueling shifts in hospitals, both at the front and behind the lines. They played the role of carers, mothers, and confidants. They were often feature in soldiers' memories and were sometimes their sole companion in death. The majority were demobilized at the end of the hostilities. I'll help you.
Vas-y. Non. Allez, dépêche-toi. Ok. Courage, Nico. Va mieux? Voilà, c'est... Allez, courage. Courage, Nico. Va mieux?
Dieu vous bénisse, Valiant.
7 months went by. Driven by compassion, Anna devoted herself, body and soul, to healing the wounded and the sick. Every life saved was another small victory over the war. The conflict, however, raged on.
Shrapnel shell remnants. Shrapnel shell remnants is a shell containing lead bullets. Depending on its settings, the shell might explode on contact with the ground, sending its contents flying, or in the air for even more destructive results. There are people in need. 3 of them. I will help them. Huh. I won't go back there right now, I don't think. We need a saw.
Hey, Marne, je suis mort.
Tallow socks. Socks soaked in refined tallow and coated with formal. The most effective way to beat the cold and damp, frostbite, and other ailments. That, at least, was what the Averets had people believing. However effective the socks were, the soldier's best friend was always a nice dry pair. found the saw.
No.
Time to amputate. Quite common if you had got shot, because amputating was easier than removing the bullet
Ready question.
or
What else?
the musket ball, or I suppose it was a bullet.
You been hit with that?
You need water. Mess tin with holes. Both dishes of this mess tin have holes in them. Not hugely practical for eating, perhaps, but life-saving for one soldier. The mess tin bag was worn at kidney height. When the shell exploded, the mess tin slowed down the searing hot shrapnel in flight, which, although it wounded the soldier, helped him live another day. Mess tins were blackened using smoke to prevent them glinting in the sunlight.
Bravo pour le déjeuner.
You need a cloth to bury your friend. You need a sling. A cross. It's over here. Lice comb. In their journals, soldiers often recount their losing war against lice and rats in the trenches. Apart from lice powder, the only other prevention against lice was this fine-toothed metal comb. Often, when soldiers took leave behind the lines, they were scrubbed down with hot water, their clothes boiled, or a new uniform issued. Gonna give this guy a shovel. Maybe I won't. I think I still need some kind of a splint. Letter from a Prussian soldier. September 6th, 1914. My dear daughter, we are making headway through the French countryside. The landscape is beautiful. I'd much rather be enjoying it with you than killing people. I think of you all the time. Your father, Wolfgang. Look at this ditch full of bodies. How very sad. Nurse's Manual. The war effort suddenly required a large medical corps, and there were not enough qualified personnel, so manuals were published and distributed to help volunteers train. The manuals provided a whole host of practical solutions to logistical and medical problems at the front, such as how to make a splint or a stretcher using rifles and their straps. Oh, you want the crutch. Where did I put that saw? Here's the water for you. Now we have to cut down this tree to get the scarf to make the splint. I'm coming. It looks nothing like the scarf we found. I will give this guy a shovel as a crutch.
The French officers were talking about Belgium. The German army was about to experiment with a new weapon near Ypres, Anna's hometown. Anna got en route to warn her father about the imminent danger. Reaching the outskirts of the city, Anna was greeted by the screams of sirens.